these leaves smell pretty good. Like they're not moldy or nothing. Supposedly super nice fans that last forever. Well, now it's just barely pouring out, but a minute ago it just sprayed the living hell out of me. What is up, everybody? Welcome to another video. Today, fair warning, I'm wearing the lav mic because we got the fans going, so hopefully it's not too loud. But the pond is doing great. You can see all the arowana thriving in it, the peacock bass, everybody's doing wonderful. But today's video is not about that. It is about the next step of the greenhouse. So we're gonna start working on environmental control or climate control. So we're gonna start with our water filter because the whole greenhouse is gonna be run off this water filter. And then we're gonna get ready to install the misting and fogging system and set that up. So that'll help keep the greenhouse cool, keep it humid and all that. Oh yeah, and we got some ventilation fans. So let's go through real quick everything that we're gonna do and then we'll get started. So I guess first up we have this. This is the Hydrologic Big Boy. This is a stupid named filter. Just kidding, but this is going to be the water filter. So everything in the greenhouse, the pond, water in the plants, the misters, everything will be run through this filter first. In Utah here, we have really hard water. So we are hoping this helps with that. And this is supposed to remove the chlorine and chloramines and everything too. That way we can top off water straight into the pond without having to use a water conditioner. So we're going to hook this up over here on the wall, run the water line to that, and then it'll go to the misting system and everything else. So as far as the misting system, we just did Netafim parts. So we have like our solenoid valve, a bunch of other stuff, and then all these little hanging things, all the little misting heads, but it'll make more sense if I explain it as we go. So that's what we're gonna do. And then once we're done with all that, we can work on our circulation fans. We got some horizontal airflow fans. So we got 2 of these. Schaefer fans. These are super nice fans. They should do great in here to last forever and move a lot of air. And those are going to be mounted up in the corners, one up in each corner, kind of pointed down in opposite directions to create nice airflow. Because the goal in here is to make it to where there's like a constant breeze, slight breeze all the time. It's good for us, keeps it cool, it's good for the plants, it's good for everything. So it's hot, I'm dying, but I say that in every video, don't I? Whatever. Let's get this water filter installed and then we can get the misting system installed and hopefully cool it down in here a little bit. We got the filter all installed. It is all hard plumbed. We had a couple little leaks, but we just tightened them up. So everything went pretty good. It is working great. We pretty much just, where we had the spigot here before, we plumbed up, 90'd over, went to the filter, and then 90'd back after the filter. So we still have a spigot. And I got this new awesome fabric hose. You can tell I'm getting old because I get excited about good hoses, which is really weird, I guess. But yeah, this is working great. Just so you guys know, if you install one of these, you have to flush it for a while because of the charcoal filter. So we flushed it for like 10 minutes or something, and it just pours out black charcoaly water. I don't want that to end up in the pond. But this is the tee right here where it is going to tee off to the misting system. So we're going to start working on that next, but it's really hot in here, and I'm going to be up on the ladder. The top 10 or so feet of the greenhouse is even hotter than it is down here. So we decided instead to start working on the fans first. So we'll get our circulation fans installed, and then we'll come back to the misting system. So for the fans, as I mentioned before, we have these Schaefer fans. They're horizontal airflow fans. They are very quiet compared to other fans. or other fans that I've used at least, and they're supposedly super nice fans that last forever. And they come with all the stuff to wire them up to this little extension cord. But on one side over there, our plug's on this side. We're gonna mount the fan on that side. So we bought a longer cord that we're gonna wire it up to. But this one we'll mount in this corner, that one in that corner, both of them pointing kind of down. And you'll see when we do it, it'll make more sense. So let's get these installed so I'm not cooking to death up there on the ladder, and then we can knock out the misting system. So this is the mount that it comes with, this little L bracket with this piece right here. So we were trying to figure out how to mount it. The fan's a little bit heavier than we expected, so I didn't want to screw it into the wood just in case it strips out and falls. So we decided we're going to do these little U-bolts, and I drilled a hole in the center of the brace and bolted them to this L bracket. And then basically the piece of EMT up at the ceiling, like our frame, is going to go through here, and then we'll crank it down, and then we can angle this wherever we want and tighten this down, and hopefully that's good enough. So now I need to go grab the ladder, and then we can get up there and mount this. Okay, first fan is all mounted. Let's see if it works. Oh, better work. Feels wonderful, so let's clean up this cord and then go mount the second one. All right, so if you're messing with these and you're not very good at electrical, here is how you wire them. Basically, you run your cord in, so you should have a white wire, a black wire, and a green wire. The green is going to just go to your little ground screw in there. The black's the hot, and the white's the neutral. So right on the side of this, it has the wiring diagram, and it shows you what needs to go. So L1, purple. So that would be your hot. So you know the black and the purple need to go together. So just twist them together real good, and then use your wire nut. And I'll tug on both of them, make sure it's not going to come undone. And then you see L2, white and yellow. So it comes with these white and yellow ones screwed together or twisted together. So we'll undo that and clean that up a little bit. And these are going to go to the white one from the cord. So same thing. Twist them all up together real good, and wire nut. I should mention this is for like 110 volt. So this is the way the reason they leave these so you can wire them yourself is because you can either wire them for 110 or for 220. But we are doing it for 110.
Did you talk about the black and the red one?
Oh yeah, and then there's the black and the orange one, and that just gets insulated. So it comes with these two twisted together. All you do is put a wire nut on it. These ones are for if you're wiring it for 220, but if you're not wiring it for 220, you just put a cap on it and call it good. So that's it. This is your hot, this is your neutral, and this is just an extra one for 220. So we won't worry about that, and you got your ground on the screw in there. And you just tuck them in there. Put that back on, tighten this down so your cord can't get pulled out, and you're good to go. Fans are all done and installed, and it's Adds quite a bit of airflow, but I was hoping it was going to be a little bit more, so we may have to add more fans in the future, but for now it is good. So now we will get started on the misting system, but I want to talk a little bit about the reason that I am doing the fans and stuff in the first place. So one, it's going to help cool things down, especially with the misting system. You know, the misting system will mist, get moisture on surfaces, and then the fans will help evaporate it. And when that moisture evaporates, it cools things down really fast, kind of like turning the whole greenhouse into a swamp cooler. And then two, I think in nature there's always airflow. Plants like being blown around and stuff a little bit. So I don't want a greenhouse that's just stagnant and hot and humid. I want a lot of airflow. So especially the more humidity I get, the more airflow I want. So I don't have tons of issues with mold and plants will rot and flowers won't last very long and stuff. So I think high humidity, but also high airflow is very important for the types of plants and animals that I'm doing. And it just feels better for us in here. When it's 90 degrees, we're not in here just cooking. It's nice to have some airflow. But so this is all kind of part of our environmental control process. To kind of get things where it needs to be for plants and animals. But anyways, now we will get started hooking up the misting system. We're gonna start with this. This is our filter and our solenoid, basically the valve that opens and closes. And then we'll run out all the pipes along the ceiling, get that all set up, and then hopefully we can test it out today. So I'm tired, but let's get started on this. Okay, so we got both the lines ran, and I went to start punching holes in it, and I forgot that I leak tested it by pressuring it up. So it is now, well, now it's just barely pouring out, but a minute ago it just sprayed the living hell out of me. So pretty neat. But anyways, don't mind me just holding the microphone. Anyways, they come with these little assemblies. I'll show it more when I'm down there on the ground. But you got this little tool, you punch a hole in here, and you take this little deal. Yeah. And you just pop it up into there. That's good. Now we got like 12 more to do or something like that. All right, so basically you got the misting heads, it's 4 little heads, and then you got a check valve that goes into it. So the check valve's kind of a cool thing because what it does is it makes it so all of them turn on at the same time. So this check valve basically won't send any pressure to here until it reaches 28 PSI. So once the whole system reaches 28 PSI, they all turn on at the same time. And then when it reaches 13 PSI, they all shut off at the same time and don't keep dripping forever. It doesn't drain the excess water in the line. So you don't end up with drip spots down below where it kills plants and stuff. And then this, they clip into, this is the piece that clips up into the pipe. So you got your little hole punching tool. You just gouge a little hole in there, clip this up in. And then this is a weight, basically just keeps it hanging down. And these come in different lengths. I'm just using the 24-inch ones just because I want it up high so it misses the whole greenhouse, but you can get like 4 foot, 3 foot, whatever. And all this stuff. Oh, I'm missing a piece. Hold up. Oh no. All right. So all this just presses together. It hangs down like that, so perfect. Let's go get the rest of them hooked up and see what it looks like when we miss the whole greenhouse. All right, it is hooked up. We got all the nozzles in place. So we just did them every other rib, and we're gonna test it out and see how that works. But we have more nozzles if we need to add more, but I think that'll be plenty. So now we can pressure it up and see how it works. The only thing we're missing so far is our controller. We're supposed to have, it's like a Trident controller, but it didn't ship in time. It comes from another company, blah, blah, blah. But for now, we'll just manually turn it on and test it. Once we have the controller, I can set it. I'll probably have it so it does like 20 to 30 seconds every 30 minutes or 60 minutes, just so it keeps it real humid in here. But yeah, for now, we can manually test it out. The camera, we don't really want it to get wet, so Tiffany's filming for me. She's probably gonna step out of the greenhouse and we'll get as good of a shot as we can. But let's turn it on. Let's see. See, so the line's pressuring up and probably getting all the air out, but it's working. Dang. Dang, this feels so good, and it is so misty in here. Literally like every part of the greenhouse is misted. Dang, this feels amazing. Let me turn this off real quick before I get soaked. All right, we ran it for a good like 30 seconds, maybe a minute, and it is soaked in here. You can see the dirt and everything's wet, but one thing is this boardwalk is very slippery when it's wet. So we're probably gonna add some like grip tape or something to this soon. But yeah, that is gonna be it for this episode. I'm still waiting on the controller, but we'll get that hooked up. That's not gonna be too interesting to see. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. Make sure you like this video. It is about to be a jungle in here. We're gonna get the soil amendment soon. We're gonna add all the bog plants to the pond. We're gonna start hardscaping it. We're gonna have plants in here probably in the next couple weeks. Like, it is really gonna start happening fast now. It is no longer a construction project. So subscribe to the channel, tell your friends, tell your mom, tell your dad, tell your uncle.